Hello, mathematicians. All right, so I'm just going to give you a little walkthrough of the worksheet that you'll be working with today. It has to do with going to the zoo, something I am very excited to do when this is all done. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and you should be able to see that. We're going to go full screen. Boom. All right, so this should be the worksheet that you're looking at. Okay, move my screen just a little bit. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm going to read through the worksheet and talk about what we'll be working on today. You'll be dealing with some time, thinking about elapsed time, time passing, and planning out a day. So this will be a great review on how to add and subtract with time. Okay, a day at the zoo. Are you ready to help Kira plan a special day at the zoo? I hope you are. You will need to use everything you know about time and problem solving to help Kira and her family plan their zoo trip. Here we go. So here's the important information. The family will arrive at the zoo at 9 a.m., that means 9 in the morning, and will depart at 3 in the afternoon. They must plan for the following events in their day. So these three things have to be included. You need to really think about how much time that will take. The first thing is a 45-minute lunch break. The second thing, a 30-minute train tour. And the last requirement is a 30-minute endangered animal presentation. That sounds interesting. They can fill the rest of their day with visits to the following 5 areas of the zoo: the primate house, reptile room, birds of all sorts, wildcats, and mammals of the world. Use this information to plan their day and record your ideas on the next page. So all of the main information you're going to need is on the first page, okay? You might have to look back to it. Maybe it's a good idea to cross things off once you have them planned in your day planner, just so you're keeping track, or maybe put a check mark next to it so you know you've done that, okay? So these give you the amount of time that they're going to spend. These ones don't, so this is up to you how much time they would spend in each of these areas. It just all has to fit between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. So start by thinking, how many hours is that? How many total hours are they going to spend at the zoo? Okay, I'm going to let you think about that, but that should be the first thing that you think about. Then you might want to add up this and subtract that from your total time. Okay, I'm just giving you some ways to jump into this, all right? Okay, so the next 3 pages are all kind of the same page. They're just broken up differently. The first page you're going to see has the time in the charts. So it has the hours, okay? That might be helpful for you if thinking about time and elapsed time is tricky, okay? So the first one has the hours in there. The second page, it's the same chart, but it doesn't put the hours in there. So you're in charge of that. So if you're someone who's more comfortable with this, that's the page that you should be working with. You should be challenging yourself to think about gridding out all the hours of the day on your own, okay? And the last one doesn't have a grid at all. So it says, here's your blank space, plan it out. If you're someone who's really comfortable organizing your thoughts on a paper, I want you to use that, okay? So there's 3 different areas to record your information. I will show them to you, but remember the first one is like if thinking about elapsed time is challenging for you, please use that one. If thinking about elapsed time is comfortable, but you still like having the grid, then use the second one that does not have the times already in there. And if you're someone who's comfortable thinking about elapsed time and comfortable charting out your thinking in a blank space without the help of a grid, then use that one, okay? So we'll look at those 3 now. So they're all the same. It just, they have different ways of writing the information. Are you ready to help Kira plan a special day at the zoo? You will need to use everything you know about time and problem solving to help Kira and her family plan their zoo trip, okay? So notice how this one has the time. It has times, has hours and half hour, okay? Next one is the same, but notice it does not have any time in there, okay? So the only difference between these 2 worksheets is one has the hours and half hours, the next one is up to you to fill that in, okay? So it has the time, and then in the middle, you'll keep track of the activity, so you'll write what they're doing, pay attention to spelling, and do your best handwriting, and then you'll say how many minutes they're doing that activity, okay? So same thing on this one, you'll write the hours and half hours, include the activity, and how many minutes, okay, for each. Okay, and lastly, this is the one that does not have a grid at all. So it just says use the space below to figure out what activities they will do and at what time. So you have this whole blank space. I want this to be organized though. I don't, if you are using this, this is a time to practice being organized and neat, okay? It's a time, because if you hand this to someone and they can't read it, or it doesn't make sense to them, well, then go back and see what you can do to fix that, all right? So if you're choosing to use this page, that means you're ready to really be neat and clear with your thinking and planning, okay? So I still want you to include the hour, the time, so this section will be the time, what hour or half hour it is, activity, and how many minutes. So all of the information from these two, if you're going to use this last one, still needs to be on this, all right? And it needs to be organized. That's a good challenge for some of you, okay? All right, we're going to go on, and there's two last pages. You can choose to do one or both of them, whichever you'd like. So in version A, you'll notice that it says version A. Now that you have their trips planned, can you answer these challenge questions about their day at the zoo? So notice that I did say these challenge questions. These are challenging questions, all right? So it's a good way to practice reviewing some of the math skills you've been working on, okay? So version A uses just slightly smaller numbers, so it might be more comfortable for some of you. And version B, it's just a little more complicated. So if you want a little challenge, do version A. If you want a bit of a bigger challenge, do version B. And if you want to do both of them, that's awesome, okay? All right, so I'm going to talk through these problems, and then the rest is going to be up to you, okay? So for each problem, notice how there's a space over here. This is your space to show your work, okay? All right, train time problems. Train time problems. It's kind of fun to say. Say it with me. Train time problems. Train time problems. Okay, there we go. If the zoo train has 8 cars and each car can hold 8 people, how many people can the train hold in all? So there are 8 train cars and each train car can hold 8 people. Here's your space, work that out. If it costs $5 to ride the train, how much will it cost Kira, her 2 parents, and her brother Eddie to ride? Okay? So it costs $5 to ride the train per person. Kira, her 2 parents, and her brother Eddie. Use this space. Have fun. If one train ride starts at 12:50 and lasts 30 minutes, what time will it finish? What time will it finish? Okay, and here we go. If there are 32 people waiting in line for the train, how many cars will they need to hold them all? If there are 32 people waiting in line for the train, how many cars will they need to hold them all? Well, you might need to review back there to help you with that. Okay, so that's version A of the first challenge questions. And version B, we just use a little more complex numbers here, okay? So that's the only difference. Train time problems. Say it with me. Train time problems. Cool. Here we go. Now these are a bit more tricky, okay? If the zoo train has 6 cars that can hold 8 people and 2 cars that can hold 12 people, how many people can the train hold in all? I'm going to let you reread that on your own, okay? Show your thinking here. Should be neat and organized. If you're working on this, challenge yourself to use some multiplication and have fun with it. All right, next one. If it costs $3.50 for children to ride the train and $4.50 for adults, How much will it cost Kira, her 2 parents, and her brother Eddie to ride? Okay, work that out. Here we go. Last one. If the train starts running at 10 a.m. and runs every half hour, how many times will it run by the time it stops at 4:30 p.m.? If the train starts running at 10 in the morning and runs every half hour, how many times will it run? How many times will it run by the time it stops at 4:30 p.m.? Okay, so that is our zoo activities for today. Have fun with these and make sure to share them with an adult at home. All right, I'm going to stop share and I will see you all soon.